Hello and welcome to our programme Q&A, which will cover the MSc in Biomedical Sciences and the MRes in Biomedical Sciences. We've got a nice panel today, so that's fab. We're joined by some academic staff as well as some current students. So can we all introduce ourselves and then we'll have a bit of an overview of the programmes if that's all right. So Catherine, do you want to kick off?
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Catherine West, so I'm the lead for the MSc Biomedical Sciences, and I also help out with the MRes program as well. My background is in epigenetics and stem cells and genome editing.
Okay, I'm Dr. Elaine Huston, and I'm the lead on the MRes Biomedical Sciences and help out on the MSc Biomedical Sciences. My background's in cyclic AMP signaling, particularly in cancer, and understanding how that is regulated during cancerous growth as well.
My name is Kurosh, and I'm an MRes in Biomedical Sciences student, currently completing my project 1 on a neurodevelopmental disorder, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Hello everyone, my name is Ling Ling, and I'm a MRes student now, and initially I'm a MSc student, and now I'm successfully transferred to MRes, and I'm happy to answer any question for you. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And could we do like a bit of an overview then of the two programmes?
Yeah, so I've got a few slides to share here, so I'll just flick onto them. Can you see those slides?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's yeah.
great. Okay, so this is just a brief overview of the program and how it's structured. So the two courses run side by side, and students all learn together in semester 1, where we have 3 different core courses, which I'll explain what they are in the moment. And that runs from September to December, and that's your first 60 credits of the program. Then in January, the two programs kind of deviate, and the MSc students have a number of option courses, which again I'll explain what they are in the moment, that they can choose from. They choose 3 different courses during that time, and that runs from January to April. The MRes students in January go into their first independent research project, so that can be either a project that lasts right the way till August, or it can be one that finishes in April and then they start on another 3-month project in May. So you have the choice of whether to do 6 months or 2 3-month projects. So that's briefly how the courses or the programs run over the year. They're 12-month courses, so they run all the way from September to August, all the way through. So we have a number of core courses, so we have 60 credits, as said, from September to December, which all students study on. And these really prepare students for research. So they give you research skills going forward, and they all complement each other. So we have a big 30-credit course, which runs right the way through the semester, and that's run by Professor Joanna Wilson, who's not with us today, but she's heavily involved in the programs as well. And this looks at human disease and health issues and how they might be investigated at molecular, genetic and cellular levels. It uses a lot of student-directed learning. So students study together and then come and present various topics to other students, or they might just have discussion groups, or they might work through problems together. So learning how to use the literature to inform you going forward as well. Higher skills is another of our big core courses. It's 20 credits, and that's one of my courses. And that really tries to prepare you for independent research. Again, in this case, it's a mainly lab-based course, so it will introduce you to lots of more basic molecular techniques that underlie a lot of the more advanced techniques that you might come across in your projects or reading the literature later on. Within that, we'll look at analysing results, how to troubleshoot those, how to think about how to move forward with your research, what questions to ask of your research. So all really important research skills going forward. And also we'll look at how to communicate that science once you've done the research. So we'll look at lab report writing and grant proposal writing as well. And then we have a 10-credit course, which is presentation skills in the biomedical sciences, which is Catherine's course. So I'll let her overview that one.
So this course gives you practice in communicating about science, so sharing science with your peers, both informally and also through giving a PowerPoint presentation and practice in posters. So it's learning how to effectively communicate, because these are really important skills as you move forward with your scientific career. And then I guess maybe whilst we're on this slide, I'll maybe talk about the last course there that Elaine has listed, which is just for MSc students. It happens in April. The MRes students are doing their research project at this time. And so this is a course which is gives you a lot more choice. You get to choose a paper that you want to focus on, and there are various structured sessions leading you to write a critical review of that paper and propose a research plan following on from it. So really thinking about moving into research and how you plan your own research experiments and the information that you need to do that.
I suppose I don't know whether you want to stay on, Catherine, as this is the MSc. So this happens between January and April and is where the MScs do their option courses.
Yeah, so you get to choose a range of options courses. So one from the first 3-week block, then one from the second 3-week block, and then one from the 5-week block at the end of semester 2. So there's a big range of courses going from sort of virology, animal models of disease, and we have a real focus on bioinformatics skills, which we've developed over recent years. So using R, we've got introductory courses in R to do bioinformatics, and then increasingly sophisticated uses of this to analyze omics data and then single cell sequencing data. And so there's real opportunities for developing your bioinformatics and sort of next generation analysis type skills. But if that's not your thing, we have some nice other courses. There's one in medical communications, so how to communicate medical issues with other scientists, and with us imaging, how to use bioimaging and analyze it and things. So it's a real range. And also maybe to mention Elaine's course, current trends and challenges for biomedical research. That's really thinking ahead to making a business plan and an idea for translating an idea into a company and how you might spin that out. So just like hoping to give you something that is of interest to you and your career plans to help you specialize a wee bit more to something that you're particularly interested in.
I think that's the end of my slides. So we'll go back to the questions.
Perfect. We have had a question submitted beforehand. Someone's asking they're unsure which one they would rather do. And I was going to say, is it possible? But we've got an example here of the student that has done it. So could you tell us how that works? Like what the best route to take is if you are unsure?
Yeah, so I can maybe start, and then Lyndon can kind of help us out, telling us the real experience of it. So in November, we give all students the option to switch degrees, because we find that a lot of students, especially with the MRes, aren't really familiar with what that is. And so when they come along, sometimes on the MSc, and then find out what the MRes is, they might want to switch, but vice versa also. So we give the opportunity to move either direction. So what you do at that point is you would submit a written application, your CV and a small paragraph to myself and Catherine. And then we interview students and just check if you want to move one way or the other, that it's right for you and it's going to be the best option moving forward. So we usually have quite a lot of students that do apply to switch degrees. Not all will be successful, but we'll have a good conversation with those students and really make sure with them that going forward, that's going to be the best option for them. So then do you want to kind of explain your experience in that switch from MSc to MRes?
Initially I find that the MRes course have too much course and I need much more lab experiments in the master degree, so I apply for the transfer to MRes degree. So and then when I got the info about the transfer, I apply and I submit my CV and have the interviews. It's like it's like a chat. It's like a chat to make sure that you are suitable to transfer, and it's not very difficult. Yep.
Maybe I can just come in and say when you're thinking about your initial choice, so the MRes, because there's more time in the lab, so it's perhaps more suited to students who know they really want to do a PhD, and maybe students who already have some lab experience. So they've got a bit of experience there, but they're familiar with that. I think with the MSc, there's such a wide range of option courses in that second term. It really gives you an opportunity to try new things and develop other angles. So if you're maybe looking for a job or an industry job later on, you're not sure if you want to do a PhD or you want to really build up your bioinformatics, then the MSc has lots of advantages there. So it's not that one course is better than the other. It's really about, do you know where you want to go and what training do you think is going to be most helpful to get there?
Okay. Something we're always asked, and I know it's a really difficult question to answer, but how often are students kind of in class and how many hours of class time should they expect each week? And I know that will be different each week, and obviously depending on courses, but maybe our students could answer that. Like, how often have you found that you have been in class?
I guess for you two, it's in semester one.
Often.
How
Sorry,
often, yeah. How often are you in class, or how many hours a day kind of?
Yes. I believe maybe 3 days a week. There's mostly classes for semester one, and usually classes last about 2 to 3 hours, which are very engaging. And for me, I didn't notice how the time flies. Yeah, I think that's about it.
So what I would say on top of that as well, it depends. So there's a kind of a different schedule over the first semester and beyond, depending on what courses you're doing. So obviously when we're in lab-based courses, there's a lot more time on campus. So you might be in 35 hours a week that week, but that's for kind of maybe 3 weeks out of the first semester. The rest's more spread out, but you will have all three courses in the first semester. So there's quite a bit of, you're in quite a lot of the time. And then obviously in second semester, it depends on your option courses in terms of the MSc. They're quite intense courses because they're 3-week or 5-week courses that are done over a very short period, and you'll be in for a number of hours during that week, and it'll depend on the course and the kind of content of that course. But then obviously in the independent research projects, you will be in much more. Yes, I think you'll agree. Yes. So that's kind of full-time in the lab. Do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, the lab projects are definitely a lot more intensive. Definitely I would say most days a week we're in the lab, and usually the lab starts from 9 to 5, and for me usually it's from 10 to 5 p.m.
Yeah, for me, it depends on you. If you want to stay at lab for more time, you can connect with your supervisor, and maybe you can come here from 8 to 7. Yeah, it depends on you.
I think it depends on the lab you're in as well. So
Yeah.
how that, and the types of techniques that you're using as well. So Lyndon's doing lots of cell culture and lots of protein work, which can be quite, you have periods in between where you can go away and do your own thing, but it can be quite long in terms of duration of doing an experiment. So I think it's very dependable on what you're doing.
Great. And we've touched a bit there on research projects. So when should students expect to sort of choose their topics? Can you talk us a bit like through the process of that?
Yeah, so I can talk about the MRes process. So in November, usually around about November, we get a list. So these projects come from right across the College of Medical, Veterinary and Life Sciences, and project supervisors submit projects to us, telling us what the projects are and what the techniques, or in MRes, it's usually the techniques that will be used within the lab. So most of the MRes projects in semester 1 will be either wet lab or dry lab, so it might be bioinformatics based as well. We then publish that list to the students, and the students then shortlist their top 5 projects from that list. So these are they're very wide, very diverse pool of projects that we have right across the college, as I said. So you can get neuroscience projects, you can get molecular projects, you can get more genetic based projects, cancer based projects, bacteriology, parasitology sometimes. So year to year that can vary, but we have a range of projects. So you choose your top 5, and then we will arrange for you to see a number of supervisors within that top 5 project list. You will have a chat to those supervisors, and you will have a choice. Well, okay, it's between yourself and the supervisor as to which project you actually end up doing at the end of the day. Do you two want to have a little bit of a chat about that process as well, because you went through it, and then Catherine can maybe talk about the MSc or the later projects?
Sure. I found the process quite easy. Like Dr. Houston said, you get a choice of about 5 projects, and there's a form online, and then you submit that form based on the projects that you choose, and you will be contacted by the supervisors who basically offer those projects, and you will likely have somewhat like a talk or interview slash talk with the supervisors, and it's a process usually between the student and the supervisor, whether or not the type of direction the project takes, or whether or not you will be working with that supervisor. It's a good experience, and I found that everything is organized, so it's quite easy, but it's also a new experience.
So sorry, I'll maybe go on because we're a bit tight on time, aren't we? I think so. For the MSc projects and also the MRes, doing them in the summer. So there's 3 types of project available. So there's lab-based projects, there's dry investigative, so that would be bioinformatics or image analysis or statistical-based projects. And then there's also sort of systematic review projects, which are based on analysing published data, analysing the literature, which is good for looking at data from sort of clinical trials or wider studies. And because, as Elaine said, we have projects from across the college, that means that we have to coordinate with the other MSc programs from across the college. And so we're allocating students from a big pool of several programs. So students will see a list of appropriate projects and can choose their top 5. And they also tell us what areas they would like to work in. Do they want to work in cancer? Do they want to work in immunology? Are there certain techniques they want to use? Are there certain things they definitely don't want to do? And so we have an algorithm process which matches up students with projects initially by their individual ones they've chosen. About half the students get one of the ones that they individually picked, and then the rest we allocate based on their preferences, the sort of project that they want to do. And so those are allocated in April, and the projects start in mid-May.
Perfect. And can you tell us a little bit more about the assessments that students might expect during their MSc?
So we have a range of different type of assessments. There's very few exams, so I think there's probably only 2 sort of exam style assessments that students would have to do, one of which is actually based on a journal article they'll have received a week ahead in advance. The rest of the assessments are really designed to build up a range of different types of skills that you'll need moving forward. So writing a lab report, writing a grant proposal, giving a talk, what else have we got? Doing bioinformatic analysis. Maybe some of the options have a group project, a group presentation that they do. And then also part of the assessments when we get to the project stage is what's called a viva, which is where you have a conversation between you and two assessors about the project that you've done. So a wide range of different types of assessments to develop your skills in a range of areas. We don't focus a lot on memorization. There's not learn all these lectures and spit it out in an exam. That's really no, we don't do that very much at all at master's level.
Okay. And I think for our students, it'd be really good to know what's been your favourite part of your MSc or your MRes so far. I think it's always interesting to hear that.
For me, it's definitely the engaging classroom environment. So for all of the courses, for example, for semester 1 that you take, it's going to be with the same class, with the same group of people, both MRes and MSc. So you really get to meet new people and stay with them for quite some time. And also, obviously, really enjoyed the lab work here. Really enjoyed working on my project right now, and just University of Glasgow, beautiful place, great spot.
And for me, very enjoy the lab work in the project, and I can learn so much, so many technique, like different type of machine or another, and I think the people in the Glasgow is very friendly tutor, and my classmates all friendly, so like.
That's great to hear. And I suppose what is the MRes or the MSc, however you started it, is it what you expected before you joined, or has it been a bit different?
It definitely is. I was expecting a lot a research intensive environment, and it definitely matches that.
Is it what you expected when you started the degree? Is the degree what you had envisaged?
Oh, actually, I wish I can have more lab work, and I wish I can learn more things about research and biomedical for in my master's degrees. Yeah, that's all.
Perfect, thank you. And I suppose after students have completed the MRes or the MSc, what kind of careers do graduates go on to do?
So it's really varied, and I think it depends. So Catherine touched on the fact that a lot of the students coming into the MRes, their goal is to do a PhD. I would say, however, that there are MSc students and MRes students that go on to do a PhD, and that's quite a high proportion. We've only got anecdotal evidence, but it's around about 30 to 50% of our students go on to further education after the degree. But people go into all sorts of different things. So there's people go into research jobs within industry. A lot of our students have gone into that in the past. Some go into different positions within a research lab within academia, so research technicians, research assistants, maybe. Within industry, not just within lab-based jobs. So some go into project management, product management, sales, technical trainers, business development. We know that some go on to businesses. So Catherine touched again on some of the courses we have that are kind of enterprise-led. So looking at entrepreneurship and commercialization. And some of the students there anecdotally have gone on to do more business-based jobs afterwards. Some go into clinical posts as well. What I would say is probably important to note for this particular degree is that we're accredited by the Royal Society of Biology, but not by the Biomedical Sciences, the Institute for Biomedical Sciences. So it doesn't guarantee you a job in the NHS afterwards, because I know that can be quite confusing for some of the students coming onto the course, but we don't have that. So that requires working within the NHS and working in labs, and we don't offer that. So ours is very academic based.
Great.
So I don't know whether you've got any other kind of experiences of students go on to do things?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had students go into sort of clinical trials management, grant writing, teaching, working in research facilities, managing, you know, sort of facilities. And so, yeah, a wide range of things. Yeah, we connect with them on LinkedIn, and it's fantastic to see them a few years later doing these amazing jobs. And you're like, oh, you're one of our students. Yeah.
And I think this will probably be our last question. In fact, let me just check because I've got one popped up in the Q&A. Yeah, we kind of answered that with our careers. I think the last question is something we're always asked, and I know it's a difficult one, but is there anything students can do to prepare for starting their studies come September time? And then can maybe do like Catherine, Elaine, and then our students, what you've maybe done or what you'd recommend doing, if anything.
I'm not sure. I think get your the rest of your life in order. You know, get here early, get your accommodation sorted, your bank, gen up on your English if it's not your first language. Try and get everything else sorted well ahead of time so that when the courses start, you're able to really focus on what you're doing, because it is intense. You will be busy, and if you're still trying to sort out where you're living whilst trying to do your courses, then that can cause a lot of problems. So I think that would be my advice, really. Get here early and be prepared. Yep.
I would agree with that. I think it's really important because it is straight in with studying as well. So we don't have a kind of nice, easy way into it. It's kind of you're here and then we start the programs really quite intensely. I mean, we can send out program information documents from the year before, which would have a little bit of information in them as to what to expect. I guess it's good to know what to expect. And also we do have, so normally within postgraduate taught courses, we don't have a lot of textbook type learning because we expect students have already had a lot of that in their undergraduate programs, or if they've done postgraduate programs before they've come as well. So it's mainly research paper, research article based reading that you're expected. So if you've got an area of interest, then just make sure that you kind of keep that interest up and read articles that are of interest to you, because everything, and then think about the techniques that are used within those articles, and that should prepare you really well for coming in as well. You two got any ideas what people can do?
Yeah, just as Dr. West said, definitely come prepared, because especially if you're coming from a different country, you want to come here early and become familiar with the system, with the banking system, even small things like groceries, before you start the program, because it is going to be intensive once it starts. So you're not going to have time to do everything else. And also, if you want to prepare academically, I believe there are revision courses for some of the courses for semester 1 that you can do. It's kind of like it will give you a good background information of everything that and sort of a prerequisite to what's will be covered in the course. So I think that would be a good idea as well.
Do you got anything to add to that, London? No, that's okay. All right, I think we've said everything.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks so much. That was really helpful. There was a little question popped up there, and it was about optional modules, and it's that are those chosen by students, which they are. We kind of touched on those optional modules at the start there. We are at our time. That went very, very quickly. So thanks very much to our panel members for joining us. And we have got very busy days, so thanks for taking some time out to chat to us. What I will say is, if anybody watching has got any further questions, we've got our administration email addresses on the programme web pages of our website. So do send any questions you have there, and our administration teams are brilliant at directing you to get the answers that you need. So this isn't your only opportunity to ask those questions. But thanks again, everybody, for joining. We'll get the recording out in the next few days, and hopefully we'll see you all in September. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.